Mr. Biden, are you handing out crack pipes to black people? Well, you colored folks want tangibles in exchange for your vote, so here's a tangible. We don't need those type of tangibles. You black people are impossible to please. You know, I tried to give you some tangible in exchange for your vote, and you say it's not good enough. Well, not every black person is a drug addict. Well, that's where I see black people in the street that don't they need some crack pipes? Well, I don't understand you colored people. Why can't you just be like the Afghans? Why can't you be like the Afghans?
Coming to paperback and e-readers, ISIS Legacy. The sorority secrets of the goddess next door are revealed in this all-new ISIS series adventure. Pre-order your copy of ISIS Legacy on Amazon.com today.
The administration continues to express its contempt to black voters. Now, beginning in May, the Biden administration is going to be offering a $30 million grant to provide funds to local governments and nonprofit groups to provide free safety materials to drug users, including free crack pipes, according to some reports. Now, other reports state that these free safety materials will not include crack pipes, but they will include things such as alcohol swabs and lip balm. Now, according to reports, these free safety materials are going to be provided to drug users in an effort to prioritize aid to minority and alphabet addicts in an effort to advance so-called racial equality. Now, this whole idea of providing free safety materials such as a crack pipe to a drug addict in order to advance racial equality is a bit of a head scratcher for me, because I'm wondering, how does giving a drug addict a free crack pipe advance racial equality when the addict is taking a controlled substance that is designed to lead to their own extermination? Now, this whole $30 million grant program is allegedly designed to help make drug use safer for addicts, but when I take a critical examination of this so-called program, it's looking like something that is designed to enable drug addicts. Now, as somebody who worked with addicts in recovery as part of the Strive Job Readiness Program back in the 2000s, I can tell you from listening to them that these types of ideas really do not help a drug addict. From what I heard from those addicts in recovery, they told me, and they talked about this in their programs, that the more you enable a drug addict, the more you encourage them to take more drugs. And what they're doing here with this grant program is they are enabling addicts, and they are doing this in an effort to disproportionately make it go after black people and give black people the tools to lead to their own demise. Now, that really again shows me how racist the Biden administration is, and how they just are completely disconnected from reality, because the whole idea of encouraging drug addicts to take more drugs, this does not go out here and help a drug addict. All this does is encourage more drug use, and it doesn't really deal with the serious issues as related to helping the person overcome addiction. From my experience at the Strive Job Readiness Workshop, I learned that the only way to help an addict is to have them go to rock bottom. And rock bottom is the point where they see that they have no help and support. And once they hit the rock bottom point, they have to acknowledge that their lives have fallen completely apart. And it's at that point that they start to pick themselves up, because they realize they have a problem. And that's the only way to help a drug addict, is to let them go through that pain. But your Biden administration doesn't want to see many of these drug addicts go through pain, because they want to profit at these addicts' expense. And what they want to do is profit at the expense of black people through a classic grant money hustle. Now, this whole program is something similar to what I talked about in one of my classic videos, the grant money hustle, because as somebody who has worked in nonprofit, I can tell you that these kind of programs are designed in order to be able to finance a small group of individuals at the expense of the taxpayer and the expense of other people out here. And the whole idea of these programs is to make it where the nonprofit gets a steady flow of money and not really provide any sort of service at all. Basically, when you listen to the really awkward mission statement here as related to this whole program, it just seems like a way for somebody to give a lobbyist a pork barrel project and be able to give a lobbyist some pork barrel money. So this whole program is all about providing tangible money to some grant money hustler and do it at the expense of black people, all while breathing brand new life into an old stereotype that black men are primarily crackheads. However, when we look at the history and statistics of the addiction on crack during the late 80s, most of the people taking the crack were white people, and most of the people out here right now who are taking these drugs are white people. So the people who are using these so-called free safety materials, most of the time, they are usually your white people who are taking the crystal meth, taking the fentanyl, and even smoking the crack. And these are the people who would be the face of this type of drug use. But your Biden administration, they want to make it look like it's all about so-called blacks and minorities and alphabet people, and talk about how it's advancing racial equality when most of the addicts out here primarily are white people, and all you have to do is look at the statistics on drug use, and the largest group of people using these drugs are white people. So what they want to do here is try to make black people the face of drug use, and that again shows the racism as related to the Biden administration, and this whole program shows the paternalism of the Biden administration in thinking that, oh, we'll give these colored people some free materials in order for them to continue using drugs and further advance the extermination of the black race. Passively, they talk about how they're doing this to so-called further advance racial equality, but aggressively, it's about promoting the extermination and genetic annihilation of black people, because many of these racists fear that black people will, if they go out here and continue to have children, dominate society, and they want to go out here and try to eliminate as many foundational black Americans as possible. But I look at this program again, and it just shows me how out of touch your Joe Biden and his administration is, and how it's just one big dysfunctional bureaucracy that is not about serving the people, but all about serving lobbyists and special interests. Because this classic grant money hustle is all about serving these special interests and ensuring that they get paid at the expense of your foundational black voters, who sadly took their booties to the poll to elect a president who is not about providing black people with tangibles. And when he thinks about giving a black person a tangible, it's a crack pipe. And again, that's just another way of expressing his ongoing contempt for black people, because your Joe Biden looks like he only sees black people as thugs, as ghetto drug addicts and junkies and losers. And that's a real insult to all of those black voters who he went out here and courted back in 2020. And then after he won the presidency, started to show his contempt by saying he could do nothing for black people. And now that he's going out here with a program, it is targeting black people by showing he still wants to do nothing for black people except do empty symbolic gestures and ways to fund his friends and cronies and show that he doesn't really want to do anything for black people except continuing to show his disrespect for all of those black voters who provided him with the tangible of votes, but he continues to show us disrespect, and it just shows me why black people need to go out here and be able to understand the political process, because if we don't pick our candidates, our agenda will not be at the forefront, we will not get tangibles, and this money will be sent to these pork barrel nonprofit scam artists who will go out here and profit at our expense with these make work jobs, because this is basically a make work job where they want to just fund one of these white people's friends who is a lobbyist, and he wants his friends to be able to get some free money, and it's basically a giveaway program. And again, more contempt expressed at foundational black Americans who were told that, oh, you need to save this democracy, but this democracy doesn't want to save you, because if they're providing you with crack pipes to go out here and smoke crack cocaine and crystal meth and want to destroy the quality of life in your neighborhood, then this is all about trying to exterminate the black race. And this type of program is an absolute insult to foundational black Americans, and it's another reason why we need to stay our asses home on 2022 and let the red bloodbath take over your Washington, D.C., and many other local offices. Now, if you want to see me make more videos like this, you can donate to my Patreon, my PayPal, or my Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. And if you want to pick up some of my action-packed African-American fantasy fiction featuring positive images of black people, you can find those books on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. I also have nonfiction books that are available on Amazon as well, and you can pick those books up on Amazon, Smashwords, the iBookstore, and Google Play. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.
Coming to paperback and e-readers, E-Steam Cancel Vacation. Hell's aspiring angel takes on a social justice social media mob looking to cancel her in this all-new E-Steam series adventure. Pre-order E-Steam Cancel Vacation on Amazon.com today.